the problems that are faced by LGBT as a whole, I'm particularly talking about the more poorer sections, disadvantaged sections, is that first is the family. Often family doesn't accept. Often they're scared what neighbors will say. There is not so much of a concept of a sin, unlike in the West. Here the concept is of shame.
Correct.
Um, and that's why they force their children to get into heterosexual marriages. Then the whole mess happens. School and education again is a problem, particularly for transgenders. A lot of sexual harassment happens in schools, and many transgenders leave school when they are in 7th, 8th, 9th standard.
Correct.
And workplaces, again, a lot of sexual harassment. Every hijra who is begging in the Bangalore street would have worked in some place before. It is because she's laughed at, because people abuse her sexually. That's why she gets into begging or sex work.
She would have worked somewhere before
Yeah.
in the formalized sector.
Very few jobs are there for them. Some NGOs give some jobs. Now there is slightly increasing number of people getting into regular jobs, but very, very few. Even today, my assumption is 95% survive by begging and sex work. And the issue for also non-transgender, cisgender people, for homosexuals and bisexuals, once they come out, once other people come to know, they do face discrimination in most workplaces, and that's why people don't come out. They try to hide, you know.
Okay.
And we got a great judgment by Supreme Court in the Nalsa case in 2014 on transgender rights. In spite of it, some policies have come in, but full implementation hasn't happened.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the provision also talks about jobs, and education opportunities, where they say that transgender should be considered as backward classes. But none of the state has done anything about it. Sangama has filed a petition in Karnataka High Court 2 years ago, demanding reservation for transgenders. Karnataka has approved 1% reservation, and this is
Oh,
the first state, probably the only state in India, which has this provision. And often, what's happening is that people have discontinued in the 8th, 9th, 10th standard. They need some support. They need to refresh. They need to get prepared for these competitive exams. So that's why
correct.
even with the 100 posts, only one or two are getting selected.
Okay.
While the legal provision is there, implementation there are challenges because there's no support for these candidates to be able to compete in these exams and pass.
Okay.
Public places, I don't know to tell you, people laugh at them, people treat them badly, and a lot of people touch them. So we get irritated when transgenders touch us. But for every one transgender who touches us, 100 people touch them. You know, they are seen
Wow.
just as sex objects. So that's what happens to them. They go to a movie, everybody is watching them. They go to a park, everybody is watching them, and not the movie. And cruising areas are the areas where homosexual, bisexual men go and meet other people like them. Nowadays, it moved mostly into online, but even now in smaller towns, it's mostly parks, railway stations, and grounds. There again, lot of police harassment happens. Gundas harass them, blackmail them, take money. All that happens. And we had this law 377, which was criminalizing sex between people of same sex, and it's a life imprisonment. That's gone. That's repealed. But still, we come across a lot of cases where people are arrested with public nuisance and theft and this kind of false cases. Also, most transgenders survive by begging and sex work. Both are criminalized in this country. Sex work is criminalized through ITPA, and there are anti-beggary laws in most states. Delhi, it is not there, I heard. Most states we have that. Again, relationship is a big problem for transgenders, particularly because even the men who get into relationship with them, they want sex or they want money. They really don't want love. And having a loving relationship and even having children or adopting children is a far away thing for them. Now there is a growing demand for marriage rights for same-sex couples, particularly from the urban English-speaking populations. That debate is going on. You might have seen recently that almost all the religions, some of the groups got together saying that why marriage is not okay between people of same gender.
Correct.
And because everybody treats you badly, so you don't have a positive self-esteem. You want to end your life. You feel suicidal. You take alcohol every day, particularly for transgenders. And that also makes them vulnerable to HIV. Because we use condom not to save our partner, but to save ourselves. When you don't have positive self-esteem, you're not going to negotiate condom. And this goes on with other communities as well. Like if you take in the US, the black people have the maximum HIV burden. It's because the more you are pushed in a society to the corner, the more you are depressed, the more stress you face. And mental health is a big issue. So in Bangalore, almost 90% of transgenders consume alcohol every day. That's the
Sorry,
reality.
sorry.
90% of the people take alcohol every day,
Okay.
transgenders. Okay. A big part of their income goes for that. And again, all LGBTI don't face problems in the same manner. Some people also face further difficulties. The working class people, the non-English speaking people, they feel more isolated. Number one, they don't have money. Number two, they don't have English language, and the amount of content of information you get in English language, still you don't have it in Kannada and other languages. And once you know English, you have internet access, you feel you're part of the global LGBT community. That doesn't happen if I'm Kannada speaking, doesn't have access to mobile or internet. Again, women in our society are face a lot of problems, and no difference when it comes to lesbian and bisexual women. At least men can go out to do whatever, but women will have a curfew. They need to be home by 6 o'clock, whatever. Transgender persons again face a lot of problem because if you're transgender, people can look at you and tell. If you're a cisgender homosexual person or bisexual, people don't know you. So at least you can hide most of the time. But transgenders are visible in society. So they do face violence and abuse much more.